Welcome to Leading Entrepreneurs of the World. I'm Stelios Hatzaki, CEO of One Business World. Leading Entrepreneurs of the World features entrepreneurs, founders, and business leaders presenting on cutting-edge topics and the latest industry developments. Today, we're very pleased to welcome global entrepreneur Suhail Khoury. Suhail Khoury is a co-founder and CEO of Soul Artists, a performing artist for over 10 years with a background in information technology in global societies. Suhail founded Soul Artists while struggling to make a living doing what he loves in performing arts in a country he had just moved to. The gap in the market he saw actually extended to the artists in the entire Arab world. His dream is to catalog the artists of the Arab world and become the largest supplier of live talent on earth. At Soul Artists, Suhail and his team present performing artists around the world with direct access to clients looking to book performers in real time. The technology acts like a talent agency in your pocket, offering users the ability to discover and hire talent within seconds, cutting down the traditional booking times to a fraction of what it used to be with industry low rates. Soul Artists is currently headquartered in Dubai and has representatives in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Kuwait, Jordan, and Lebanon. Suhail, we're very happy and very pleased to have you here with us today to hear more about building online platforms and about how to start small and scale organically. Welcome to Leading Entrepreneurs of the World.
Thank you so much for having me, Stelios. It's a pleasure to be here. Today, I'm going to talk about building online platforms, how to start small and scale organically. This session is pretty much for people who are in the very early stage of formulating their ideas to build platforms. And first thing I would say, and most people would say, is don't do it. It's not for the faint-hearted. People think building platforms is an easy kind of job, like building a normal website, but it's much more than that. You're building a living and breathing machine. But if you're not afraid and would actually want to go down that route, these are some of the reasons why you would want to do this. So online platforms, they have the potential to solve a problem for millions of people. They have the potential to scale very quickly and grow. They're a hub for meaningful and powerful data. They have the ability to grow and run themselves when done correctly. And they have the potential to generate jobs for millions of people. And the best thing of all, they make you money in your sleep. So my name is Suhail. This is going to be a little bit about me and about my story before we get down to the nitty-gritty. I've been a live entertainer for over 10 years, performing close-up magic, dancing, and fire arts. I've worked as a handyman, as a waiter in restaurants, as a children's teacher, a tour guide, a credit card salesman, a real estate salesman. I worked in event telesales, and now I founded a multi-million-dollar company. Point being is, it doesn't matter who you've been or where you come from. If you have an idea, you can do it. So this is my platform, what I've done. It's called Soul Artists, and as Stelios was kind enough to explain, it's a platform for booking talent. It houses currently the largest pool of talent in the MENA region. It's the fastest and most secure way to book an artist, pretty much anywhere we checked around the globe. We operate around the world, trusted by more than 1,000 companies. And this is a product of countless trial and error. So the way I went about and started to do this is, I worked from banking to real estate to event management. And no matter how hard I worked, I could never make ends meet. End of the day, I would get my salary, end of the month, it would literally just vanish to bills and everything. And it did not generate any happiness for me. So what I decided to do is pretty much go out, do what I love. I'm gonna make a CV as a performing artist. I sent it out to every single event management company I could find. And once that was done, not a single person had replied to me. Nobody was interested for some reason, even though I thought I was pretty good and everyone I performed to was pretty satisfied. But during my search, I really couldn't find a place for people like me. Just artists looking for gigs, or for me to look at artists who are looking for gigs. A solution like that didn't exist, even though it seemed so simple. So that's when I decided to go ahead and build my own. So, based from 5 years of being in this business and continuously building platforms, these are the things that would get you started. The largest tree grows from the smallest seed. It's about starting as small as possible. First of all, I would say generate the idea you believe in and contemplate it. Meaning, make sure whatever idea you want to do or want to create, see it through to the end. Visualize everything until it's a machine that runs itself and generates billions for you. Even if you would never reach that, or you could, it's still great to have that in your vision, and that sets the roadmap for what you're about to do. Size up your competition. So regardless of whether you think you have a product that's kind of like something that exists but a little bit better, or if you think that you have something new that doesn't exist anywhere, believe me, you have competition, because whatever you're going to do, you're going to bite out of a market that someone's currently tapped into. So to know your competition is very important to knowing yourself and what you could do better. Establish and understand your USPs and be true to them. Your unique selling points is what makes you you. Otherwise, you would just be a copy of someone else, and you would never be them. So this kind of ties in with sizing up your competition to see what exists, create USPs, and stick to them to the very end. And of course, creating your business plan, financial model, and marketing plan. Each one of those, of course, goes into extreme detail, which we're not going to go into today. But all these things require zero money to generate. You can have all these things prepped up with zero money, and you're pretty much halfway there. So a lot of people are just think that, oh, you know what? Yeah, I would love to create this business, but it's going to cost me money, and I can't afford that. But realistically, if you have an idea, money will come. There is a plethora of investors out there looking for something amazing to invest in. So these are the things you need to pretty much get started. Based on my experience, of course, there are others who have a different kind of listing, but this worked for me. So first of all, you got to relate to the problem. You got to feel the pain of those you wish to help. So if you're creating a platform, you're usually solving a problem. And if you're solving a problem, you got to know the problem and not solve a problem you've never had. So create that problem for yourself, see how it's done, and feel the pain of the people who have done it. So experiencing it for yourself will give you huge insight on how to solve a problem. Understand why nobody's produced this idea yet. It's unlikely that you're the first to think of your new solution or your new platform. For sure, others have thought about it, but understand why hasn't it arrived as of yet. These are the barriers of entry, and it's good to know those to break those. And monetization. What is the relationship between the problem and how people are monetizing from this problem? And can you have an impact on that? Once the problems are identified, once you know the pain, it's about disrupting your market with your solution and easing the pain of your users. So understand what makes you special. Are you taking something traditional and making it easier, faster, or more accessible? Or are you creating something completely new for a problem people didn't even know they had? Understand how your solution gives peace of mind and security than your competition. What makes your solution better in terms of, is it more secure? Does it actually not only solve the problem, but solve the problem and grant additional benefits to the people you're helping? And finally, you need to understand how your users will get more value for what they pay, as opposed to what's currently out there. Will they save money on something they already do? Will it become free, something they've always been paying for? So understanding these things helps you put together what will come to in your pitch. Market gap. To understand where your business is going to be placed is absolutely crucial, especially when raising money from investors. So as you can see, I put a little map for my own business when founding Soul Artists. There were people like me. There were people who were getting into the online talent business. But of course, one of my USPs was I identified a market gap in my region, which is the MENA region and the GCC. And that alone kind of gives a huge, how do you say it? It gives huge validity to your idea, because you can see that all these other competition, they have valid businesses that generate substantial amounts of money. So the only difference is that that kind of business model is not available in your region. So they're validated by the competition, which is a great thing to know, where you stand and where others stand around you. Find your market gap. Know where you belong. Know where your customers are. This is huge. So even within the MENA region or whatever region you're operating in, you need to know where your customers are. Who are your customers? Are they businesses? Are they clients? Are they customers? Are they grandmas? Are they children? This kind of data sets the pace to how you will market and how you will target. Know the size of the market. This is so important, and a lot of people just miss it. They want to just do the next great idea. But then again, when they understand that the size of the market, that even if they capture the whole market, that the business would not be profitable. So to know the size of the market will indicate whether your business is worth proceeding with or not. It could be a local business, a local platform. It could be a regional platform. It could be a global platform. Do not be intimidated by competition. Regardless of how you start or where you start, there will always be people with more money than you. There will always be people who are more advanced than you and have been in the business longer than you, but they're not you. You have something unique, and sometimes that's enough to go up against even the biggest of competitors. Once you have all that down and you understand that your business is a valid one, you've done your research, you've done your numbers, you've done everything that's humanly possible before actually going and asking for an investment. So now your only barrier is money. Once you've done everything that you can do without money, then you would need to start building. So to prepare for an investment, you need to, once meeting an investor, first thing got to do is you got to sell the dream. You got to know your numbers and be realistic about your growth. Investors of tech have probably in many cases heard pitches from hundreds, if not thousands in some cases, of platform developers. And one thing that really turns them off is not knowing your numbers or being unrealistic about your projections. So be real, be reasonable, and of course, don't go too overboard with your projections, especially if you have zero revenue generated at this point, which you most likely will. Next thing, which is super important to bring to your investor meeting, is a prototype. And that would be a simple working demo or solution. Obviously, when building a platform, this is a very complex piece of technology. But when I say a prototype, it could be an edited video that kind of just shows the UI, kind of like a dummy platform. But showing something and having your investor um, actually see what they're trying to invest into is worth more than hours and hours of talking and trying to explain a concept. And of course, one thing to bring along is your attitude to try and try again. It's unlikely, very unlikely, you would get your investment on your first meeting, and you would get many rejections. God knows we've had dozens and dozens and dozens before our first raise. Um, Always prepare to go back to the drawing board, try again, take the feedback, take the criticism, and use it. Don't just say, this guy doesn't know anything, this guy can't see it. No, these guys can always see something. Just make sure all this criticism, use it as gifts to make sure that this doesn't come up again for the next investor. They're all actually helping you indirectly build your business model properly. So, seeding the dream, going for your seed fund. Here are my tips and tricks, or not even tricks, they're just my tips. So, as we mentioned, investors should be confident you know your numbers and projections, and this justifies your asking raise. You yourself have to really believe what you're pitching. Any hesitation, these investors, they smell it even sometimes before walking into the room. If you really believe in what you do, show it, show your passion. Don't just go in, even if you have the best product in the world and you're going to just go in and show him your numbers, show him a demo, but you're not excited. There's no way that the investor would be excited. They invest in the person as much as they do in the product. So be confident and show your passion. It goes a long way. Let your product do most of the talking. So make sure your demo works, meaning when you show up to the investor meeting, test and test and test if you're building, if you have a working prototype ready, or if you have a video, make it concise, make it effective, make sure it gets the message across. That is extremely important. I've seen, and I know a lot of people who have gone to investor meetings and they did not have any video or working demo. They're pitching numbers and they're pitching just a dream, like just talking. And never ever have I seen a single instance where an investment has come through for this kind of methodology when pitching. As mentioned, also take the feedback seriously. These guys are helping you build the platform and for free, they're taking time out of their days to give attention to you, to your business. They're gonna tell you, you're gonna hear some stuff you don't like. You might even hear some stuff that's insulting. You may feel like the hours and hours and tens or hundreds of hours of work have just been kind of dismissed, and it's very discouraging. But shift your perspective and kind of take that feedback seriously. Whatever they say, there is some truth to it for sure. Nobody's gonna just tell you stuff to piss you off. So, building your prototype, this is so important. Draft everything on paper. So a lot of people they're like, we don't know how to build a prototype. We've never built a website. We have this idea. The way I see it, that's fine. I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to build a platform. But what I do know is I have a vision on how it would look like. I know what the windows would look like. I know what the colors would be. I know what the user experience should be. I know what the sign-up process should be, even though I can't put it in programming. But drafting that on paper, putting your vision from your head to paper, every single screen, every single user experience that's possible, even every single error message, how the X would look like when closing a window. The more you can manifest that design from your mind into something tangible, paper, you've made incredible progress, because that any developer can look at, almost any good developer can see it, and he can build it. um, the more detailed you can manifest your designs on paper or anything, just sketch it out, the better the chances are of the product coming out the way you want it to be. I don't recommend going to someone and say, oh, you know what, just giving him like a couple of pages of text document and asking him to build it. It will never be what you want it to be. It's going to be something out of someone else's imagination, and it'll be a shadow of your original vision. Be proactive, be part of the build, and be extremely and meticulously detailed. So as mentioned, a working demo is worth 1,000 meetings. Definitely agree. So build the most basic functionality in first. So usually when people want to build platforms, they get a little bit carried away. God knows we did. That means I want my platform to promote artists. I want my platform to also sell tickets. I want to have an e-commerce store in the platform. I want my platform to have like social media features. While all these are great ideas and they're good, but it would become too much out of scope. You would need a ridiculous amount of money to make that happen. When realistically, to build the prototype, to get that money to eventually make that bigger, longer term vision dream come true, try to see how small you can go rather than how big you can go in the beginning. So for me, rather than having all these facilities, my platform's main USP was booking talent with a tap, booking performing artists digitally. So I knew that was the main thing I had to put in. Just a website that is so simple that I can discover talent, I can book them, I can pay. No need for ticketing, no need for social media features yet. No need for all these extra things that, kind of cross-gen with other people. I wanted to just show off my USP. So start as small as possible, and you'll even save a ton of money doing it. Take feedback seriously. Can't say that enough, but yeah, please do. Don't get discouraged by it. Just take it seriously. This is one that I've missed. Follow in the footsteps of the greats. So look at platforms you like. Look at designs you like. Are you an Apple guy? Do you like how Apple does things? Look at Apple. Watch their design. They use this kind of clean design, focusing on the experience, focusing on the product. Maybe you like the way Spotify looks, or you like the way Facebook designs its stuff. Take cues from these guys. Look at the way they do it. See what they do right. What would you change about them? Find someone you really look up to, and take some design cues. It might be it's not really stealing. It's just getting inspiration and understanding what makes these platforms work so well. Embracing failure. Oof. So this is kind of something that is a more internal kind of work as a person. So one thing is just condition yourself for many refusals. Be ready for them. Don't go in thinking, all right, this is the one I'm gonna close. Always obviously be optimistic that every meeting could potentially be a closing. But like I say, if you're gonna go on this journey, get ready for 100 no's, 1,000 no's. Someone will come and believe in you, and it would be the right person. But be prepared for that. And if you're not ready to take that harsh criticism every now and again, then maybe better to turn back. Do not shrug off any free feedback. Every refusal to invest in your platform is a free lesson to improve and evolve. Build the most basic functionality in first. Saves you money, proves your concept, and lets you start as small as possible. So let's say you've got your investment, you're ready to move to the next stage. your prototype is no longer needed. You're actually going to start building the real thing. So here are some things that I would like to point out that worked for me. Become your platform's biggest user and knowledge base. So nobody is going to promote your platform as much as you. Use it. You have to be the biggest, most active user on it. If you're not going to use your own tech, nobody, I mean, it's not nobody will, but if you're not going to use something that you like, it'll never be great. So continuously using it and being the platform's biggest user lets you find the nooks and crannies that can be improved. Sometimes the smallest changes have the biggest effect. Make direct onboarding and sales personally. What I mean is, like, many people starting platforms there, they think, you know what, as soon as this platform launches, I'm going to start to get tons of bookings, tons of sales. People are just going to come in and I'm going to have like 100,000 users in a year or in a few months. And, that's all very wishful thinking. Platforms start slow, especially when you're talking about something new, or if you're disrupting something that's been done traditionally in a certain way. You're going to need to educate the market, meaning you're going to have to manually go from person to person or from business to business and manually sell that, like, as in, like, speak to them, meet with them, educate them that there's a better way to do things. Same as the great Steve Jobs, for example, when he created the personal computer, and nobody knew what it was, and he had to, like, do a ton of telesales and go meeting to meeting and try to educate people that there's a new way to do things. And that's the most challenging part. Once you put all this work in and you find that there is no traction, you need to put that initial traction in, and then traction will bring traction. Hire a team and learn to trust. This is a huge mistake sometimes that I see people do, is they want to do everything themselves. Sure, you made the platform, the vision. Nobody's going to care about it as much as you. But a company is people. It's not technology. It's not anything else. A company is people. Bring in people you trust. Bring in people who are willing to learn. Share the work. Accept opinions. Like I say, nobody's going to know the platform as well as you. Nobody's going to know the vision as well as you. But trust these people. Offload the work and embrace more people coming in and handling important tasks, which leaves you more opportunities to earn money, which pretty much is what a CEO and founder should do. So when it comes to platform, there's a bit of a technology side. Integrate ready-made APIs, meaning, a big issue people building platforms do is they want to build everything themselves. For example, I want to have a messenger in my platform. So they go ahead and they build a messenger from scratch, and it takes a ton of money and it takes months and months to make. A messenger is a very complex thing, and they end up making it and it's super buggy and it has huge issues. But someone else would just go and use an API, for example, Twilio. I would go on like Twilio, and they have a ready-made API, and in a few lines of code, you have a messenger made, and for fraction of the price, and it would probably be a lot better. So look at APIs when building a certain technology. See what works with you. There's a ton out there, and they drastically increase your development speed, and they even provide a higher level of reliability, especially if these APIs come from people like Amazon or Spotify, etc. Get market and user feedback. That data is so important after you launch. Seriously, every single person using your product is giving you an extremely valuable piece of advice once they use it. You would know how user friendly your product is. You would know how easy it was, what issues they suffered, um, and a huge range. It's an obvious one, but a lot of people don't take that too seriously. A lot of people don't even chase after it when data drives growth in reality. Measure all your growth metrics, no matter how insignificant they may seem. So usually when you build your platform and you're ending your first year or your second year after inception, you end up with almost no money. You could be running out of money and you would need to raise again. And in some cases, you would not have generated enough revenue to raise again because you were too busy onboarding your vendors or onboarding your clients. So that wouldn't be an issue if from the start you would measure all your growth metrics, meaning, okay, from 2020 to 2021, yeah, the revenue didn't go up that much, but at least let's say the times users spent on the homepage increased by 150%. Let's say the clicks increased on a specific page by 200%. So while these metrics may seem insignificant, when presented properly and to an investor, they can assess the growth of the company in other ways other than revenue. A lot of people are only measuring revenue and they're going to just say, okay, we generated this much from this much. We generated 100,000 last year, generated 200,000 next year, or so on. But there is so many ways to measure growth, and the more you can measure it, the better you would have an understanding on how the company is growing, and the better chance an investor would, and raising money would be a lot easier. Budget accordingly. Know your biggest bang for your buck. So this one's an important one, definitely one raising money. A lot of people get carried away wanting to do too many things, buy too many things at the same time. Same thing goes as just starting as small as possible. See what are the things you really need. If you find that you're not hitting the targets you want, go back to this and evaluate those one at a time. When building platforms, the odds are always against you, but everyone has greatness in them. So I'm going to end my presentation at this. I just want to give you little bits of advice personally. Have stamina. Be in it for the long run. An online platform takes 3 to 5 years to break even or generate profit. So don't go in thinking it's going to be easy and fast. Invest in yourself while still trusting others to come through. Invest in your technology. Don't take shortcuts and be part of the development process, meaning design everything. Make sure that it's your vision that's coming out. Otherwise, it'll never be what you want it to be. Become an expert in every moving part of your business. Like I say, be the biggest user of your business and part of the development process. You don't know marketing, learn some marketing. You don't know analytics, learn some analytics. Invest in knowledge. Take feedback and criticism positively. They are a rare commodity and an indicator on the way forward. They push you forward as fast as any other money can give you. Never give up, only pivot. You would not have dreamt it if it was not possible. If it was impossible. Thanks for listening, guys, and investing your time. I really appreciate it.